Hi everyone, Dale here, and in this video, how NAVI faced off against the girls. Are G2 and FaZe in trouble? Vitality are turning into a killing machine. Will Spirit reclaim the title of the best team in the world? And how the major has changed? Before we dive in, give this video an advance like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let's get started. A historic match for Counter-Strike recently took place. In Blast Bounty 2025 Season 1, the world's best men's team, NAVI, faced off against the best women's team, Imperial FaZe. While similar matches have happened before, this was the first time one was played on a Tier 1 stage with such fanfare. It's no secret that women's CS currently struggles to compete with men's. Even if you closely follow the pro scene, you'd likely have trouble naming more than a couple of female players. Streamer Evalone even considered betting a significant amount that NAVI wouldn't lose a single round over 2 maps. A bet that seemed like easy money before the match. The first map, Ancient, started as expected. NAVI took the first 4 rounds, and it seemed like the entire BO3 would last just 40 minutes. But either Born to Win relaxed, or the girls remembered the legendary words of Zeus about aiming for the head, as the situation started to shift in the 5th round. Imperial FaZe executed a fake A push to plant on B, successfully outplaying the world's top team and putting their first point on the board. Then they won a 2-4 round, leaving NAVI with no money. Bettors hoping for a 13-0 were already holding their heads in disbelief. While NAVI managed to win the first half, Cat from Imperial pulled off a crucial clutch in the pistol round, followed by an easy eco round win, bringing the score to 7-7. A tie! From there, Imperial couldn't maintain their momentum. Either they couldn't believe their luck, or NAVI started sweating as if it were a major. After the first gun round, Imperial didn't win another round. The map ended 13-7 on Ancient, and we moved to Mirage. The second map followed a similar script. NAVI started strong, reaching 5-1, but Imperial struck back when Cat, the newly crowned Pistol King, won a clutch. She even took down the world's 11th best player, Wonderful, with a clean deagle shot. For much of the map, the teams were neck and neck, with scores like 5-5 and 7-6, but Imperial ultimately fell short again. Sometimes it was individual skill, and other times it was a lack of experience against such strong opponents. Mirage ended 13-8, and NAVI advanced to the next stage of Blast Bounty. See the promo code on the screen? Don't wait for a lucky chance. Luck is already on your side. Enter the promo code on our website and collect top loot from GGDrop. Have fun hunting, bro. However, this wasn't an easy walk in the park for NAVI, and judging by their faces, even they didn't expect such a tough game. From my perspective, this is a huge success for Imperial and women's esports in general. Not every team on the pro scene can take 15 rounds off the world's best squad. Imperial's male roster only managed 10 rounds against NAVI at IEM Rio 2024. This shows that with more investment, support, and experience against Tier 1 teams, we could see a women's team in the HLTV top 10 within 5 to 10 years. After all, in 2015, the idea of such a match was unimaginable, let alone the existence of professional women's teams. In the last video, we talked about Nico's departure from G2 and the new Falcons roster, but let's take a break from the Sheiks and their Dubai chocolate. If they wanted, they could just buy all the major trophies and live happily ever after. Almost all of the world's best teams have undergone roster shuffles, which could shake up the established order on the pro scene. G2, for example, replaced Nico with Nikita HeavyGod Martinenko. Remember him? He pulled off an incredible Deagle highlight last year. He came from the now-dead Cloud9, and for him, moving to the number 2 team in the world is an unreal career boost. But for G2, the outlook is unclear. Considering the fact that Hunter and Snacks are nearing retirement age, G2's future is in serious question. m0NESY has been linked to almost every team imaginable for over a year now. Many analysts say ELiGE needs to either leave or the organization must rebuild the roster around him. The world's number 2 team is now like a powder keg. If anything goes wrong, an explosion is inevitable. A similar situation is unfolding with FaZe. ropz left the team on a free transfer, and his spot was filled by Jonathan ELiGE Jablanowski. ELiGE seems like a solid replacement. Swapping the world's number 18 player for number 19 isn't exactly a downgrade, but it's not a step forward either. The team's average age is 27.8 years, with Kerrigan and Rain old enough to be dads, and ELiGE not exactly a young player anymore. If this roster struggles, major shuffles are likely on the horizon. things are completely different for Vitality. They picked up the best lurker of recent years, the aforementioned ropz, on a free transfer. With Ziwu just 24 years old, he'll remain one of the best players in CS for several more years. Add FlameZ, currently ranked number 7 in the world, and on paper, Vitality looks like a favorite for nearly every major tournament this year. However, much depends on AppyX. His ability to lead effectively and adjust the team's playstyle to integrate 2 of the top 3 players of recent years will be key. But one thing is clear, Vitality will undoubtedly be at the top this year. Out of the top 5 teams in the world, only 2 have retained their rosters, Spirit and NAVI. Last year, there were plenty of discussions about whether Spirit needed roster changes, but after their major win in Shanghai, those talks have been postponed for at least 6 months. Many believe the Dragons won't be able to maintain such a high level of performance. The main concern is that a large portion of their gameplay and tactics relies heavily on their star player Donk, and it's uncertain whether the 17-year-old, who is under constant scrutiny from the CS community, can continue to handle this pressure while delivering such incredible performances. Teams around the world will focus even more on studying Spirit's playstyle. However, people were saying the same thing a few months ago, and look where those commentators are now. Good question, right? To summarize, it's unlikely that the Dragons will fall out of the top rankings, but replicating such a successful year will be extremely challenging. Speaking of favorites, let's also talk about NAVI. We've already covered how they defeated Imperial FA 2-0 earlier, but I think their potential extends far beyond that. First, Vertigo has been removed from the map pool, a map NAVI have avoided since its introduction. After many years, Train has finally returned, giving Blade plenty of room to shine. Historically, NAVI have always loved playing to Train. Additionally, this map is vastly different from anything else in the pool, making it the perfect playground for a coach who thrives on complex and innovative tactics. From last year, we know that Natus Vincere can beat any team in the world. 4 out of their 5 players made it into the HLTV Top 20, and the only one who didn't, Alexib, won the Best IGL of the Year award. NAVI won't drop below the top 5 teams in the world, and they may even climb to the number 1 spot as the year progresses. And finally, let's talk about the tournaments that are undergoing significant changes this year. The first and most important, the Major. Now, there will be 32 teams instead of 24, with an additional stage added for lesser-known teams. This means 4 extra days on top of the existing 14. On the one hand, this means more content. On the other hand, who really wants to watch Tier 2 and Tier 3 teams grind through Bow 1 matches? That's a good question. However, more teams don't mean lesser-known squads will have a better chance to make it to the top. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Everything now depends on invites and Valve rankings since RMR tournaments have been completely replaced by RMQs, regional qualifiers. Underdogs won't be able to reach the major through FACEIT qualifiers anymore. Additionally, this year will bring a significantly higher number of tournaments hosted by various organizers, offering huge prize pools. Some teams may even have to skip certain events just to avoid burning out. But more tournaments mean more content, trophies, and MVP medals, so the fight for the number 1 spot will be even more intense. This year truly promises a lot of excitement, and to make sure you don't miss the hottest news from the world of Counter-Strike, be sure to subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. This was your humble servant Dale, wishing you all the good games.